But by definition, most of us are not the top spender in a market. And so we need to learn how to do grassroots, authentic relationship building
Right.
marketing.
Which leads me to the next question, which is the fastest growing law firms today aren't always the best. They're just simply the loudest. So what do you tell younger people today that don't have those dollars about how to move forward around clarity, service, and systems? But let's be blunt. Does integrity still sell?
100%, 100%. So this is a life philosophy that happens to apply to the question you just asked, which is this, like Neil, like I wake up every day thinking, I'm going to talk to Neil Goldstein today. All right. What can I do for you first? That's a different conversation at a social event than, hey, I'm a PI lawyer and I'm great and blah, 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 which is the only conversation that happens at most lawyers' events, right? They're either telling you about their biggest
Right.
verdict, that
Right.
someone's been seriously
Right.
hurt, which is
Right.
kind of bad, or they're complaining about judges or insurance companies, right? No one's going around going, you're a family lawyer. Great. What kind of client is your best client? What are you trying to solve for now? What's your biggest challenge? And all right, well, here I have a book or a resource or something. I will try to pour energy into you. So what I teach young people, Neil, I get to speak, I'm blessed, high schoolers, college kids, law students, put energy into the world first. The world doesn't owe you anything, right? You have to put energy into the world and it will come back to you. So, and anybody can do that. You don't have to be a millionaire. You don't have to have any money to ask curious questions and try to think, how can I make this person's life better? Now, then it's keeping track of, as you know, the big thing I've taught for over 20 years is like your list is the most important thing in the world. And so as Neil Goldstein comes into Ben's universe and I know what you do and where you are and all those things, I'm making sure I'm trying to stay in front of you in an interesting way every month. And Ben is old. Like I'm talking print newsletters. I'm talking physical books. And honestly, goodness, I love my young digital marketing people at my firm, but all they want to do is email and digital marketing. And I'm like, the mailman, he's
Right.
going to be your favorite person.
I talk about this often, how I probably knew this for a long time, but I didn't really speak about it publicly. And maybe you can enlighten me on your position about why I feel this way. So many lawyers disproportionately have this ego problem, and they actually lead by ego. And sometimes it works for them, but is that really what we want to do? Is that what we want to do? We want to meet somebody, and the first thing we tell them is, okay, this is the verdict I got. I got this great settlement that nobody could verify, but I'm telling you I got it. Here's my website with a list of 500, verdicts and settlements that we got. Let me tell you something, Ben. I've been doing this 35 years. Never did somebody come into my office and ask me, hey, by the way, can you give me a list of verdicts and settlements you got for the type of case that I have? Nobody. So why do attorneys still do that? Why is that so important to them?
One, because they have never been introduced to the other alleyways and pathways of other interesting things. So the thing that's worse than what you just described is someone says, oh, and this is a great case because the person lost both of their legs and they
Right,
got a brain injury. It's a great case.
right,
It's a really sad thing that happened.
right, right.
In large part because they haven't been taught, and they don't have the courage to show up differently. Most consumers, we think, still want to know that you have some experience doing the thing, solving for the problem they have or the opportunity they have. However, having said that, we believe more and more in 2025, in our experience now is that fewer consumers seem to be shopping. They have pre-shopped. They pre-shop because when you and I were young, they had to come into an office and
Right,
talk to us.
right.
Today, they can go to 10 websites and watch 40 YouTube videos in 2 hours and make some judgments about who they may trust. So I don't know, the answer to the why the ego, why that is still a big part of lawyers' conversation. It may be that this is just the way the non-entrepreneurs talk, and they're talking to someone else who's just going to go, but mine's bigger than yours, right? And so it just
Exactly.
drives that kind
That's
of energy.
exactly what it is. Look, as you just alluded to, you've written books, No BS, Time Management, which I'll ask you about in a minute, and you've taught seminars, you have great mastermind groups, and you have great legal marketing events. How has that evolved in the last 20 years? I know what it was like 20 years ago. How has it evolved for you, if at all?
So, in one sense, not at all. We're still talking about the science of attracting and maintaining the attention of somebody, all right? And how do humans respond? So that's simple, consistent, and then how do I stay in front of you, as I said, in an interesting way? Today, like Neil, my son and I, who I'm in practice with, we have said, I'm not sure that I would want to be a starting new lawyer today because there's so many choices. If you don't know, like you're looking around going, oh my gosh, where would I even start with all of the different sort of advertising and marketing channels? And who do I put my faith and trust in to guide me, to show me? So I think it is a lot more potentially difficult today. Again, having said that, I would just go back to first principles. You develop your list, you maintain your list, you look around and how can I help you? You have interesting conversations with people and you be curious. Stop talking about yourself. If you and I have a conversation, Neil, and we spend an hour and I just ask you questions about you, your life, your business, you're going to walk away from that conversation thinking, wow, that was the coolest conversation I ever had, right? And I don't say anything about myself. So that's a hard thing for humans to get over, like stop talking about yourself.